exposing the darkness just to save my own life. Go on and say what you like, cause I really don't give a fuck. Give a fuck, give a fuck, give a fuck. Now every time I come around they wanna see me fall, wanna see me crawl on my knees like Saul. And every time I come around they wanna see me cry, wanna see me die, crucified like Christ. Now every time I come around they wanna see me fall, wanna see me crawl on my knees like Saul. And every time I come around they wanna see me die, crucified like Christ, seeing through sheep's eyes. Every time I step up I'm taking 2 steps back, and in fact I sing from gray to the darkest of black. I won't lead you astray, I'll just show you the facts, but they might lead you to stress.
Alright, yo, what's up? We're back on the air. This is podcast 6,
Yeah.
Save the World Radio, number 6.
Save the world.
Yeah.
Ryan's not here tonight, but we got Bill taking his place.
Yes, sir.
Where are you from anyway? Why don't you plug your show really quick?
Okay, I'm on the Common Sense Radio Show, which is on WNJC 1360 AM, and it's every 6 to 7 p.m.
AM? Nobody listens to AM. What are you, crazy?
No one at all. That's why it's so cheap.
Affordable.
Yes.
Yeah, potato, whatever.
We know all about affordable here, right, Britt?
Indeed.
Savage Rock School.
Yeah, they're all telling us the word cheap, but I look at it as affordable.
And don't worry, friends, all the doors are locked. We're secure here. Not at risk of any terrorist activity. Because there's been some of that going around lately.
Yeah, we had this one night where we left the doors unlocked, and we were infiltrated by terrorists with guns, and they abducted me against my consent.
Absolutely.
They found some natural substances that they misappropriately identified as dangerous narcotics. They weren't found in my possession.
Right.
And they kidnapped me.
But more importantly, they burst in here absolutely unwarranted. Literally and metaphorically.
They performed a warrantless search. They entered our nonprofit rock school for kids with guns at 3 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to New Germany.
Yeah, they claimed that the door was unlocked, but you know that
we don't know about that. Let's just say you always are pretty
hey, they had a very good
door.
reason. You see, they're trying to get the bloodline pure for the Aryan nation, and for that to happen, they need to take certain liberties to make sure that everything goes fine for the Fuhrer.
They use something called the community caretaking exception.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in this forum, we can't do the air quotes, and you guys can see them.
No, I guess not. Hey, thanks for letting me speak on the radio the other day on your show. I think we talked about right to travel for a little split second.
It was good, and you were the fastest talker I've ever seen on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
You got like 9 paragraphs in, and we were like, what happened?
Yeah, when Britt gets excited, yeah. Speed talks.
Well, I'm just pissed about this whole license thing. I mean, like, they make these motor vehicles, and I have the right to travel. And the way we do it these days is when you need a loaf of bread, you get in your car and you go to 7-Eleven. When you need a gallon of milk, you get in your car and you use it. That's like the common way of travel these days, and we have the right to travel. And who are they to take this liberty, this secured liberty, and convert it to a privilege and offer a license and a fee for it? It's unconstitutional, Your Honor. Murray versus Madison. Look it up.
Well, let me interject so people get the idea of what happened. On the show, we didn't have a topic because our guest dropped out. So we basically just started talking about like the 4th of July, and that became a discussion about, fireworks. And then somehow fireworks led into cars. And then for those who haven't listened to the show, which will be everyone, the show is funded by the New Jersey Libertarian Party, which myself and a few of the other people on the show work with.
Wait, what the hell's a libertarian?
Yeah, explain that.
If you look at any sort of document from the government, we're apparently a terrorist organization. But the Libertarian Party is the 3rd largest political party in the United States and one of the largest political movements in the world.
Now, I got an aunt who's a liberal. Is that the same thing?
No, because actually liberals have acid for blood and horns. But no, a libertarian is the classic definition of what a liberal is before it was co-opted by, mainly by Roosevelt, who wanted to find a way to sell socialism with a prettier name. And you can look it up. It's in the history books. Back in the World War II era, he was trying to sell his New Deal, which was blatantly a socialist movement, for better or worse. And so that he didn't get the stigma of being, a communist, because at the time, even though we were allied with the communists, we didn't like them, he sold it as liberals, and then the Democratic Party became socialist. Libertarianism is a classic definition, which is based on the founding fathers' ideals of government, namely those of people like Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, so on and so forth.
John Elway?
Yeah.
Him too.
We need a new deal is what they're trying to say these days. And I see it as they're trying to push us into like greater forms of tyranny and socialism.
Well,
basically,
basically, bailout the new deal.
no, that wasn't for our deal. That was another person's deal. That was a backdoor deal. That was the new backdoor deal.
We got a new deal, but it's not really for you. Sorry.
Well, basically, what's happening is, oh man, I completely lost my train of thought. Well, besides the whole bailout deal, what it's becoming is that we're trying to move to like Rousseau-based liberalism. And for those who don't know, Rousseau, classic liberal philosophy is based on the idea that we gain freedom away from people. It's the only way to be truly free would be going back to that state of nature that mankind is absolutely free. But it depending on who you read, we're in danger of hurting ourselves and others, and we come into society on our own free will for safety. But by doing so, we lose freedom. Rousseau had the belief, and you can read this. It's actually a pretty decent read, where the only way for people to get true freedom is through giving all their liberties to what he called the general will, which basically what he was trying to do was create a monarch without a human form, and whatever the general will was would be the absolute monarch that you can read about.
Kind of like that 1984 Big Brother character.
Yeah, to a certain extent, yeah. But if that character actually was like a living, breathing person, you'd have a monarch. You'd have the great Leviathan from Hobbes' stories. But if you have if it's not embodied by anyone, it's just the general will of the people. You have this 1984 style like faceless monarch that controls everyone, but it's supposed to be based on consent. But the thing is, it will never work because no one will ever vote for the greater good of the people. They always vote for self-interest, and it's impossible to get interest groups and all out of the equation. So what you have is a bunch of people voting for their own interest, and the people who have stronger powers in government will ultimately get their voice heard. So it's corporations basically taking all the rights of the people and moving us towards like Coca-Cola presents voting.
All right, there's a lot of people who aren't into politics who don't understand how important this stuff is.
Stupid people.
Like, can you give like a little practical situation in which like your basic freedoms just regularly get trampled and your
Well, aside from the break-in here, there's so many.
We got infiltrated by terrorists.
I think
That's shocking.
The two that are like actually there's like three big ones that we're constantly being faced with. The first one is gun control. We're constantly facing battles. It's the NRA versus. It seems like the NRA versus the government, and then people versus government. And basically, the battle is: do people really have the right to bear firearms? Now, if you look at the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights. Yes, you do. Well, saying Constitution, that wasn't necessary. But if you look at the Second Amendment, yes, you can own a gun. But the government doesn't want that. And the reason why is because the easiest way to control somebody is to make them subservient and no longer a threat. If you look throughout history, constantly the reference is going back to Nazi Germany because, the Nazis were so adorable. If you go back there, the first things that Hitler did was he burned books and he got rid of guns. And every single dictator does that. As a matter of fact, there's this great picture you can find on YouTube. It's called I think it's gun control, and it's like these people agree, and you have Castro, Hitler, you have Stalin, you have the guy from China, I forget his name, Ho Chi Minh. Chairman Mao, that's right. You're constantly having the battle about gun control. Freedom of speech is constantly a battle. Right now, marriage is a battle, but I'm not going to go into that.